let's drink some wine. Hi, everyone. We are the Wine Brothers. I am Bryan Hinschberger.
And I'm Paul Hinschberger.
Today, we are going to be tasting some wicked little wines from... Actually, they're not little at all. They're pretty big. From the Ribera del Duero in Spain. So, Bonvivant Imports, the company I work for, we import wines in Spain, and we import wines in Italy. And these, my friends, are wines from the heart of Spain, one of the most well-known regions of Spain. There's Rioja, which everyone, or many people know of. Ribera del Duero, I think, kind of follows second suit. Definitely very well-known, has a really cool classic history. Vega Sicilia, one of the most well-known estates in the world, up there with First Growths of Margaux, is in Ribera del Duero. Unbelievable wines. Pingus, big houses from Ribera that make unbelievably large, rich, elegant, amazing Tempranillo. Or Tinta del País is the Tempranillo, what it's called in Ribera del Duero. Mm-hmm. So this is Asenjo and Manso. So Jesus Asenjo and Carlos Manso is kind of where the name derives from. Jesus Asenjo is really the meat and potatoes of this project. He is this amazing man, the viticulturist. He is the dude who works relentlessly day after day to make this whole thing move. His winemaker, her name is Natalia Calleja. Lovely woman. She is a fantastic winemaker, and since 2004, this bodega has been in existence. So in 2004, Natalia kind of was already making wine at a few other different wineries, and she came over to be the head winemaker. Jesus is the farmer, the viticulturist. The family farm, the vineyards that they have been in his family for 100 years. So Jesus's grandfather literally planted these vines. The oldest of the vineyards, high up on the plateau, is 100-year-old vine Tempranillo. Huh. Vega Sicilia is pretty awesome, but they don't have any 100-year-old vines in Ribera del Duero.
But they just started in 2004?
This bodega did. So they've always kind of made wine. They've sold grapes. They've done that. They've always been in the wine business and growing. They're farmers. Jesus can remember, anything he remembers is wine. When his first memories start to kick in, it's when he was 6 years old and he's working harvest. School would shut down during harvest, and they would, all the kids would be helping their families within the farms and in the vineyards. We grew up in Idaho, and in Rigby, not in our town. I wish it would have. not in Rigby, in Shelley. School still shuts down for potatoes.
Yeah. For potato harvest.
Idaho jokes.
I wish we got to
But these guys shut down for wine harvest. Mm-hmm. So Jesus has always been there. His father, older gentleman, spends 2 hours a day walking the vineyards. Every day. And then ends up at the winery and walks around contemplatively and just kind of looks and does his thing. And the love for what they do is so evident, and Natalia fits right in line. She is this, like I said, just lovely woman that makes unbelievable wine, and all of them together, or basically Jesus and Natalia together, form this great team to make A&M, or Asenjo Manso. Mm-hmm. So these are fun Ribera del Dueros. I'm really, really excited to taste through this lineup. We've recently brought in the Manso, which is kind of this gorgeous introductory level Ribera that's done in true typical style, 12 months of American oak, but at an aggressive price point, so it can sit on a shelf at about $20. So let's taste the Manso. Now, sorry, I just cut you off. I cut you off with the glass. So now, what I really find intriguing, I was in Spain a while back and visiting this house, and what was so beautiful to see is just their organic process. All of their vineyards are treated organically. They always have been. One of them is certified organic, and they actually make an organic Ceres that's certified, but everything's organic in their book. Mm-hmm. They have all bush vines. They have about 35 to 40 hectare of vines. Half of a hectare is on trellis. And that's only because it's kind of the lowest area. It's a little more susceptible to rot. So they want to make sure that it gets lots of air. Mm-hmm. But they love the bush vine training because the leaves kind of protect from the sun. And in their theory, creates more maturation through photosynthesis versus sun ripening, which I think is really smart.
It is smart, especially in this hot of a climate. When I don't know if you mentioned the degrees, but apparently it gets up to 104 degrees consistently throughout
the summer. Yeah,
and so that can really create a lot of sun damage on the grapes if it's hitting the grapes directly. But,
so that's why they kind of like this old bush vine style. Mm-hmm. So now on the Manso and the Ceres, we're talking 30 year to 60-year-old vines. The Sylvanas will get up into the 80-year-old, and then they have a big Papa Daddy that's 100-year-old vines. Now, what I thought was kind of interesting is Jesus. No, I got to tell you something about Jesus, but Jesus mentioned something about vines. And he said, as vines get older, they get wiser too. And once they hit about 30 years old, vines, they only produce fruit that will mature. So when you're a young vine, you're just making fruit. You like that dance? and it's not necessarily ever going to ripen.
Right.
Some of those bunches aren't going to ripen. He said in his vineyards, once they hit 30, they're wise, and they know they're only going to produce a bundle that will actually mature, which I think is pretty brilliant.
That is interesting.
Talk to me about the Manso. Like my snap?
I'm really, really impressed that this is $20.
Yeah.
It's super complex.
The nose is so delicious and ripe.
Mm-hmm.
Blackberries and raspberries
and really smoky.
It does, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it has a meaty character to it, doesn't it?
Cured meats and smoked meats, and then it also is floral in a sense, like you're standing across the street from the floral shop. It's not like you're inside of it, but you smell it wafting over.
Right.
Memories of.
And maybe in Ribera del Duero, it's across the road down there, over there. Because it's this gorgeous region. Now, Ribera del Duero is built along the Duero River, which then continues on through Portugal. It's called the Douro, where it enters into the Atlantic Ocean, and that's where port country is. So same river, but all the way inland into the middle of Spain. Now, what's cool is they are literally in the highest portion of Ribera del Duero. They're about 3 kilometers away from the river. High up, vineyards are higher, a little bit more, which I think adds a little bit more to the depth and complexity of the soil than to be too close to the river. But they're in the town of La Horra. La Horra is where Pingus is, really, really famous little town. And here's what blew my mind, right? We're walking along, heading to vineyards, doing whatever, and Jesus is like, hello, saying hi to everybody we pass. We're just like, geez, Jesus, you really know a lot of people. And he's like, yeah, I'm the mayor. He's the mayor of the town. And it just... and the winemaker of Asenjo Manso, it just cracked me up that this dude is... So I called them the mayor the rest of the time. Just, mayor, But just the love and the passion that these guys have for what they do is exuberant and exciting, and I love it.
This is so good.
You like the Manso?
Mm-hmm.
So $20 Ribera del Duero for unbelievably well made. 12 months in American oak. Some of it's new, some of it's first year and second year off the Ceres. Mm-hmm. But I can't wait to bust this into everybody's palates. Yep. Sounds awkward. Anyways, let's go on to the Ceres. So, really well developed, and that the American oak is there, but it's not like slap you over the head and kill you with a 2x4 of American oak. No. It's just lovely and integrated. Good. So the Ceres is a tribute to the Greek god Ceres, which is the god of fertility and the god of the harvest. But this is the harvest of cereal grains, so barley and wheat. And they found it, they kind of just like to have this homage towards the Greek gods of the land, because they're really, really focused on it. Like I said, all organic production. you know, actually they grow sunflower crops, big old tall sunflowers, all around vineyards to keep the vines happy. It makes me happy. That's pretty sweet. Taste this. What do you got?
Well, it's a little more elegant than the Manso. It's still got the structure and the earthiness, and the fruit is really quite delicious. But I think elegance is the
well, and this one has new American oak and first year French oak that was used on the Sylvanas.
Gotcha.
So a little bit more oak presence, but yeah, the elegance is gorgeous. And that's what Ribera is known for, is this kind of bigger fruit, but this really underlining elegance.
Right.
That's, taking claim, like Sagales is known as really kind of beautiful fruit. Toro is known for giant, and mix in the middle of Ribera del Duero.
Right.
So let's move on to the Sylvanas. So Sylvanas is kind of their high-end shimmy shammy, and
The shimmy shammy.
the high-end shimmy shammy. Sylvanus was the Greek god of the forest, but what they also wanted to think is that it goes beyond just the forest. It's just the natural respect of the land, of how it's always been. Thus the name Sylvanus. So this is the 2005 beautiful age on it. Ribera del Duero. I mean, this is pretty serious stuff.
This is good.
So the Ceres, about $35 on a shelf. Like I said, $20 on the Manso, killer deal. Sylvanas gets up into the more, $55, $60 price range, but probably worth every penny. How's this drinking? This is all new French oak, by the way. So 12 months on French oak. Gorgeous, very. Natalia likes to use the French oak because of its elegance.
Sure, yeah.
And its finer grain. She likes the vanilla, the coconut, the balsamics of the American oak. So, what do you get on this?
Dark bean cherry, kind of that smoky note again. Such an evolving and developing palate. It's really, and nose. It's really complex.
And it's chewy, but it's not overly tannic, It's got so much structure. It's got big fruit. It has good acidity.
That's good.
Pretty really amazing good bottle. So this, like I said, is more in the $50 price point. And then they've got the A&M. It's a bottle about this big, 80 pounds of glass, and their 100-year-old vine fruit. $200 a bottle, $150, $200 a bottle. Best Ribera del Duero ever even imagined. It was epic bottle. The vineyards here are gorgeous. Rolling hills, the clay. There's sandstone. There's limestone. There's a little bit of chalkiness in the soils here. Add a lot of minerality and drive. Once things hit the bodega. She likes to do all fermentation, malolactic fermentation, in stainless steel. And so she won't even throw to barrel until February or March, which I think is really neat. It kind of integrates the wine before it gets too imparted by oak. Yeah. So it's not overdone. It's not over the top. Gorgeous wines. Asenjo Manso of La Horra in the Burgos. And a little bit of their vineyards are in Valladolid of Ribera del Duero, in the center of Spain, in Castilla y León. I hope you find these, because these are amazing Ribera del Duero. Very, very good across the board values also, and especially with the Manso coming in.
Sure.
So, until next time, enjoy. Cheers.
Salud.